Okay,
Yeah, we don't need our report. I don't know the way it's looking. Probably anyway, but all good.
sorry.
No,
Okay.
it's cool. Even I was talking to the girls, that's why she's actually helped. We're trying this little hybrid thing, because like our virtual team was booked and sunny in summer and agents are just out doing their thing. So she was booked solid for 2 weeks and she has literally gotten ghosted at every meeting. It's just the value, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, like, for agents, if they have other important stuff to do, or you know what I mean? It's not a money line, you know what I mean? It's like, I guess maybe not, so.
Yeah,
Cool, you got that, sorry to bother you, but you got that set up for us?
yes, yeah.
Alright, cool.
So you should be able to get in and I'll make you a host so you can do whatever you need to do.
So you should see Tracy Brewer, if you wanna make, her co-host.
Okay, maybe I sent the wrong link.
You don't see her?
I don't.
Let me call her real quick. Cause yeah, I'm hanging out. Hey,
Hello.
Tracy, she doesn't see you. We didn't even know.
Come on now. When do you ever have keys to your own office?
Well, hop out and try not back in, sorry for that.
Send you a copy of a link to.
This, that she's waiting for the host to start the meeting. The host has another meeting in progress,
Thank you.
and that's the link I sent you this morning, right? Huh. Yeah, commands commission training, so that's the right screen. You don't see her, Cassandra?
I don't. What's her email?
Is your email just tbrewer@aphw.com? T and then BREWER @aphw.com. All right, we'll give that a shot. If it doesn't work, we'll maybe fun. Or we'll see. All right, thanks, Cassandra. If you do see her, like if you see her pop in, just make Tracy Bird the co-host.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, whatevs. All right, let's hop off here. All right, thanks. Yep. Dude, that was the worst idea, Tracy. Good afternoon, Patty. Appreciate it. Thank you that you can make it. So we'll get started here. Tracy's going to help me go through the slides. So I'm Timely Mailing with America's Preferred Home Warranty, and we're going to be going over some risk management stuff here. My contact information will be available at the end of the meeting here, and I can even put that in the chat for you. If you want to go to the next slide there, Tracy. All right. So as you can see here, today's market, there's a lot of risk, for all parties involved. So what we've done is we've just worked through, a few slides here to help you navigate that and just go over a few things that, you're able to help mitigate your risk. There's a few key points that we'll make sure to touch base on. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to answer them. You can email me or give me a call directly. And, if I am in a meeting, then obviously I won't be able to respond immediately, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can, as soon as it's over, be able to address any concerns that you have. So we can go to the next slide, please. All right. So one of the key things that you may or may not have heard about is going to be home buyer remorse. So that is one of the key things that came out of the pandemic. One of the big things was obviously after that, inspections and everything was sort of, talked out, home warranty included. And what we've had is people buying houses, cash, no appraisals, no inspections, a lot of various things have sort of changed in the real estate market. And that's just created a lot of home buyer remorse. So, it's very unfortunate, that these things do increase the risk and thus, increase, what we would call lawsuits and other issues as well. So that's something we're seeing again now. So even though this data is from 2022, a year later, a little over a year, a lot of these things still do apply and is very, very similar. The next slide, please. So one of the key things that we seem to find is new homeowners, they're getting rushed into buying a home, and 75% feel that they got a raw deal. So that's what you keep hearing time and time again. Now we get it. The homeowner is, getting in multiple offers. They want to do anything to get to the house, get in there and get to closing. However, who are they going to blame, right? And these are some things that we're going to address. Obviously, it's going to be everyone, perhaps but themselves. They're going to point the finger, and that's just unfortunate. And one of those things is that it's going to be the agent. So if you're representing that buyer, they said, hey, I'll do anything to get into the home, no worries. Well, after some things become uncovered in the home, after they've been in the home for a while, well, now you're going to be the person that's blamed, or the brokerage or market center or other parties. So, there's going to be a few issues that can arise from that. Not always. If we want to go to the next slide, please. So one of the issues is going to be regret, right? So we keep focusing on buyer's remorse. It's going to be the worker maintenance. So they're going to get in there. They're going to start using stuff. You can imagine a scenario where you move one person out of a home and you move a family of 4 in. Well, things are getting worked more, right? So 7 out of 10 homes is typically a statistic we see, having an issue, within, that first 90-day window. So that's one of those things where, they're going to have those regrets after they get in there and start turning the light switches on and start doing, various amount of things. And it's just unfortunate that it's just a natural fact of home ownership, and things being used. But there again, they wanted to get in there, they wanted to waive inspection, perhaps they didn't even consider home warranty, even if it was offered, but once they have to start opening up that checkbook to fix these things, that's where the regret's going to set in, and then everyone else is going to be the bad guy. I'll go to the next piece, please. So what we're having is obviously a lot of competition. So, we can look at both, obviously both responsibilities. So if you're the listing agent, your object is to get as much money for that listing as possible. And then on the buy side, they want to get in there and, you're getting multiple offers and come with the highest offer and, perhaps the cleanest deal. So, as you can see on this slide, waiving inspections, just moving right up to closing, getting to closing as fast as possible. But if they knew that there was issues, they probably wouldn't get into the home, right? So that is one of those things where, you know, knowledge is key, but they just want to win. They want to get the home. We get it. You know, buying sight unseen, you know, but we're even seeing 63% of buyers made offers in 2020. Now that's some older data, but I imagine it's probably still even happening now. You know, it's just unfortunate that someone will buy it, you know, sight unseen and then, you know, complain afterwards. But, you know, that's just a simple fact of the market that we're in, and, you know, we're in. You know, underestimated maintenance. I think this is probably the biggest piece is people don't really realize, you know, just how much maintenance and how much cost is actually going to be involved in that. So that's one of those things where, you know, people are going to get in there, and then, you know, when they start having, you know, any type of issue that is more than just routine maintenance or even an upgrade, you know, it's going to be very strenuous on their budget, you know, especially if they've came with cash and, you know, had a over asking offer and, you know, just really tapped all their resources. You know, it's going to be really, really tough for them to be able to weather those expenses. And then that's where the regret's going to come in. You can imagine, you know, if you buy a home in the summertime and the AC breaks or has an issue and it was not inspected, well, you know, you're going to have to suffer through that. And if you have kids and, you know, everyone's very uncomfortable in the home. So, you know, that's a real key piece, you know, undeterred, you know, unexpected maintenance and the cost that comes associated with that. Go to the next slide, please. You know, so that's just another, you know, another piece is going to be that, you know, that hidden cost and the true cost of ownership there. You know, so it's one of those things you're going to want to let your buyers, if you're representing the buy side, you know, be aware of, is that, you know, even if they do want to take inspection out, or, you know, you've offered warranty and they've declined it, is that they really are aware, you know, what it's going to cost. And if these things do happen, and obviously you want to have them get into the home and you want to close the deal. But, you know, in a lot of cases, it's one of those things where maybe just doing an extra little bit of due diligence would be better off. You know, they'll still, you know, move forward with the offer and get into the home, but, you know, just being aware of what those expectations, some of these folks have rented for years and years and years, which I'm sure you're aware of, and they've never had to pay for anything. So that is just a shock in and of itself. And they go from renting and being able to call, you know, a landlord or whoever, maybe an apartment where it's been, you know, updated and nothing's ever even broken, to a home that's a little older, which is some data we'll visit here, you know, where things are going to break, you know, and that's one of those things that's going to cost them money that they've never had to spend before. So we can go to the next slide, please. So just like I said, so more than half the homeowners, 52%, say the true cost of owning the house took them by surprise. So as you can imagine, they move in, you know, you got furniture, you have other expenses. Like I said, I use the AC. Well, maybe it's the wintertime and it's in the furnace. You know, the furnace isn't even really an option. So you can imagine, you know, just having that hidden expense. It's a surprise, you know, it's 2 o'clock on a winter night. And, you know, it's just really unfortunate, you know, but it's one of those things that you need to prepare them for. And these are some of the things that, you know, we're going to go through. And, you know, it's also how a home warranty can help. So even if an inspection's waived, we're not going to require an inspection. You know, we're going to want to know the condition. You know, we want things to be in good working order. You know, it's for wear and tear and maintenance, not pre-existing. But this is one of the ways that home warranty is really going to help solve your problems when you have, you know, homes that need some maintenance, and maybe they did waive inspection or a few other things that, you know, they weren't aware of, that, you know, home warranty can come in and save the day. If we go to the next piece, please. So just like we had mentioned before, you know, we had, you know, majority of homeowners, you know, have experienced that buyer's remorse piece. You know, 1 in 4, you know, say they feel, you know, that they've had some. You know, I'll be honest, I even had some of mine. You know, it was one of those things where, you know, I was even aware of home ownership, but, you know, I just, you know, I had a few things break, and, you know, I didn't have warranty, and, you know, I feel that probably would have been a great thing and a good value. That was 4 years ago, so a little different market. But as you can just imagine, when you have depleted resources, you know, the first breakdown is going to be maybe, you know, cash or credit card. Well, what's the second and third breakdown look like? So that's one of those things where, you know, it's going to be really trying, especially if you have, you know, children in the home, you know, depending on what has broken, you know, typically HVAC or, or heating is going to cause the most grief, but you know, even appliances, or, you know, if you have a lot of food in the fridge, you know, you just never know. You know, systems get used, and like I said, 7 out of 10 first 90 days is when we really experience, you know, a lot of those breakdowns and a few issues. If we go to the next piece, please. So 40%. So this is you know, this is a crazy number here. 40% of their household income, you know, and housing has doubled, you know, before, you know, the pandemic. So that's just, you know, a staggering number. So there's not going to be a lot of resources to go and you know, fix different things. You know, it's not only the biggest purchase and asset, but you know, even with VA loans, you know, their DTI guidelines are extraordinarily high. You know, they need residual income, but there again, you know, people are really house and cash strapped, and obviously the goal is to get in there. And then once they do, you know, a lot of times they're caught by surprise and don't have the resources to fix things. And that's not even just you know, general living and, you know, trying to maintain. So you can imagine the grief that you know, folks are going to feel, and that's what goes into the regret and the remorse piece. But you know, that's one of the ways that home warranty can definitely help offset that. Next slide, please. So they regret at least 70%, that is at least one aspect of the home purchase. So, you know, I imagine once they get in there, you know, it's going to be, you know, various things, but just overall maintenance. Maybe they work a lot, maybe they have kids. You know, the features aspect, you know, obviously warranty can't help with that. And, you know, that's another thing that's, you know, buyer's preference, but that's also too about, you know, as we said in the earlier slide, folks were feeling rushed, right? So when someone feels rushed, then they're going to be looking for people to blame. And, you know, unfortunately it's going to be, you know, going to be the agent and, or the seller. And there's a few things we'll get on that. You know, and it's really just budgeting. So obviously when you're, you know, dealing with your clients, you know, hey, I get it. Once again, you want to close the deal. You want to make sure that you make that happen. That's what it's all about, is getting buyers homes and, you know, selling homes, but really just, you want to prepare them. So that way, if something does occur, obviously, you know, we can help assist you with being, you know, that hero in that scenario. And if there is a warranty in place and there's a breakdown and we can cover that claim, well, you can imagine that they're going to be very, very happy that that was something that you suggested. If we go to the next slide, please. So, you know, here's a quantifiable numbers. So 5,000 in maintenance, 2021, you know, and that's, you know, probably an average. 2021, I would say it might even be higher now. So, you know, $5,000 is a decent amount of, you know, liquid and liquid cash. And that's going to be kind of tough, right? If that's something you just need to cough up. You know, unfortunately, I hear a lot from agents on the claim side. And believe you me, when someone is needing to fix an HVAC system or a furnace and they just bought the house, 5,000 is definitely a hit and isn't always there. And like I said, people are looking at credit cards and other things, and that's not it's not usually the best way to go about and you know, fix something. But you know, you got to do what you got to do to make sure that you have heat. You know, HVAC is obviously, you know, a convenience, and you maybe get some window, you know, units, but that's not, it's also a hassle, not very, you know, very good. So you know, home warranty can, you know, definitely pay. I've seen claims where, you know, different items combined has been over $5,000, and you know, it's really made those homeowners, you know, very, very happy. Just last week, you know, I wrote a letter and you know, got 3,200 for a homeowner for, you know, a furnace and HVAC. So they were very, very happy. You go to the next slide, please. All right. So, you know, most homeowners are going to be surprised by that true cost of ownership, especially millennials. You know, the new generation, you know, they've, you know, perhaps live with parents or roommates or apartments. You know, so that's going to be one of those things where they really don't know what goes into owning a home. You know, it's very surprising to them. So like we had said, you know, a little bit earlier, they call the landlord, fix this. This is broke, not my responsibility. Or even maybe they live with their parents. You know, they don't realize what home ownership is. I try and compare it to a car. So, you know, if you're, you know, dealing with clients, you know, buyers or sellers, typically buyers, you know, it's the same thing that you're responsible for the maintenance on your vehicle. So you're responsible for the maintenance on your house. So it's kind of like going from a warranty on a car to having a home without a warranty, or, we can have a warranty on there, obviously with America's Preferred. So that's kind of how I pitch that and how I make that look. It gives folks a little bit more of a peace of mind. And, this way, if they do have an issue, then they realize that they're responsible. Obviously, the warranty is the first year. They can, choose to remain and go month to month after, but at least it helps ease them into home ownership and allows them to see how that's going to look moving forward in their adult life. You can go to the next slide, please. So just like we just reiterated, at least 5,000, maintenance repair costs in 2021. That's a huge number. Obviously, if you get into, multiple claims, HVAC, furnace, some appliances, some plumbing, just various things. And sellers are aware it's a seller's market, so they're gonna, do some basic maintenance and some basic repair, but they're really not gonna, probably go the extra mile, perhaps like in previous markets, to fix things like they used to. So, that's another thing too, is you have to, be concerned at what type of maintenance was done. As long as it was maintained, once again, good working order, that's great, but they're probably not going to put a lot of upgrades, and there's probably not going to be a lot of brand new stuff. If we go to the next slide, please. So borrowing money, so like I said, with the credit cards, maybe they have friends and family. I do take these calls on the agent side, and it's just unfortunate, but it's just the simple fact. If you're putting 20 to 30% down, average, purchase price probably, high 170s to, low 200s, I'd imagine, depending on the market. That's a huge amount of cash for down payment, unless they're doing another loan type, but, the resources just aren't there. And, 20-30% credit card interest, that's another added expense that's really going to, come in, and, they're going to be very disgruntled when they got to mail out that credit card bill every month. Go to the next slide, please. So, once again, risk management. So it's just best practices. We're just here to help the real estate professionals, and just lower potential claims for lawsuits, E&O claims, complaints, unhappy buyers and sellers. So pretty basic. Go to the next slide, please. So what we found is, our insurance partner with the E&O is going to be Pearl. One of the reasons why we have that partnership is they're very confident with when home warranty is placed on a property. It just helps risk overall. So that's one of the reasons why they've been willing to, partner with us. And it's just one of those nice advantages that we have. So, as you can see, 3/4 of the customers, E&O complaints are just, due to something amiss, with the condition of a purchased property. Go to the next slide, please. So we just have a few recent trends, multiple offers. So even though some of this data was from 2022 and 21, we're back in the multiple offer scenario. Over list price, that's very, very common. And just want clean deals. I keep hearing clean deals over and over. So just waiving any additional costs, contingencies, home warranties and inspections. And, I've even spoke with agents and brokers, whereas inspections get waived, they want warranty in place because they're aware of that risk. A lot of times it's not something they're going to get into the weeds with newer agents or even agents in general, but they know if they've been in the business for a while, they realize what's going to happen is risk increases. That's risk for the agent and the brokerage. And it's just an unfortunate scenario, but it's, a fact of the business. So, especially if you have an inspection waived, you definitely will at least offer warranty, and that's going to help offset your personal risk. So we want to go to the next slide, please. So this is why it's important for real estate professionals, just to continue recommending the protection provided from a warranty. So if it takes care of the issue, that's great. We have claims, and now we have an issue. We fixed the problem before it's even started. Legacy takes care of the E&O, but that's another thing too, is, just less likely of having an issue in general when you have a warranty on a property. And you're not going to be the one named, or if you are named in a lawsuit, you have that piece there that, hey, I put a warranty in place, or I at least suggested a warranty, and that's a great talking piece there. So if you're ever have any issues, go to the next slide, please. All right. So, home buyers, we got the hidden risks. So 45%, this is 2021 data, probably still pretty accurate. I did see Eli put something on, LinkedIn about, the current market and multiples and overages. So you got 45%, paid above asking price. So that's a huge number, and at least 99% of list price. So as you can see, the negotiation is still for that person selling the home. Definitely a seller's market. Not as crazy as what it was, but still definitely the ball is in their court. And then one of the key pieces here is that it's going to be at least a 20-year-old home for the most part, so it's going to have some issues probably moving forward. 7 out of 10, that first 90 days, and it's just unfortunate they're going to have those regrets when these things happen. You're going to be the first person they call as their agent, and you just want to have a solution. So we would hope that they have accurate information, and they're obviously your emotions are running high. So that is a great way that warranty, when that person makes that phone call to you and they've paid over asking and it's been somewhat of a contentious process for them, that you're able to say, hey, that magnet you have on your fridge with that warranty number and my information, yeah, call them. There's a good chance they can pay out that claim. And when we do that, it totally solves the problem, and then you're the hero. Go to the next slide, please. So 75% said they would do anything to get into the home, including waiving the inspection and the home warranty. So it's just a theme we see repeated over and over again. And then 7 out of 10 failure. So, just looking at this from the outside is you have people, they want the home, they want to get out of the apartment or whatever their current situation is. But 7 out of 10 is going to have a major system failure within that first year, and that's going to be a headache for them. It's a headache for you. It's a headache for their bank book. Hopefully they don't, create, a lawsuit or litigious situation, but, even as is, doesn't save anyone. That's, probably a combination that's not necessarily going to protect against the lawsuit. So, here's, where having a warranty in place is, a great thing for solving any issues that can arise, or at least protect yourself with that conversation that, I did offer a warranty and it was declined. The next screen, please. All right, so risk for the sellers. So the sellers, don't want to offer any incentives. Once again, it's their market. I heard, even closing costs. There's a guy who was almost he was about 50% cash buyer, and what his closing costs paid, and the agent representing him, basically laughed and said, "There's no way. That's not going to happen." It's really in their court, and they don't need to have all these extra things, even FHA appraisals and inspections. They're able to entertain the best offer to them, and whatever that means. So it's one of those things where, if we can find a way to have a warranty in place to protect the buyer, which protects you, and then that also protects the seller too. So even listing with the warranty, we get it. They want closed or clean deals. But just from a legal perspective and reducing risk, if they can list with the warranty, that's going to help cover their butt. We don't require inspection. Once again, there's things we'll look at. We'll ask about the condition of things, but it is not required to have a home warranty in place. So that's also a way we can, help protect the seller. We do offer up to 2 years post-sale, $1,000 legal coverage in the event that they are named in a lawsuit. So that's another benefit to listing with America's Preferred Home Warranty as well. Go to the next slide, please. All right, so 90%, buyers and sellers recommend their agent, to others as well to work with them again. So we get it. You work off referrals, and that's really what the partnership is about, and the program does. Is ideally we just want to have you get referrals, and by having a warranty in place, you're not the bad guy or gal. The seller isn't. It's amazing when you can say yes and it's fixing. How that fixes a lot of things. So. Ideally, it's a low-cost solution to help offset a lot of the headaches. You do get compensated, $100. If we have a warranty in place and that transaction closes. So for even a $499 basic plan that'll offer a lot of protection, you're able to put that on there. and really the cost is only $400. So if, if you were to include that as a gift or find a way to have that included, or even if the buyer was going to purchase that themselves, it's just the way that you can say, hey, moving forward, I think it's a great idea, even though it's maybe not something they wanted to do. I've seen what happens with, some of these homes, and it's really, it's going to be cheaper than a fix if we have a claim that's paid. It's just a simple fact. And then again, on the seller side, they get the listing covered. So if something comes up, prior that we're able to cover, the deal's going to stay together, and, they're going to see the value there, and then it converts for the buyer, and, the buyer is going to be happy. 54% of homeowners surveyed, just stated simply that the most important factors, in choosing their agents, you folks, reputation, experience, honesty, and integrity. So, these are the ways that it's helped reinforce your relationship, with the buyers and sellers, and show them that you actually care about them and their experience, right? So ideally, you want to have a nice, clean, easy deal, low stress, and then you have a solution for when something happens. And unfortunately, they move in without an inspection. They paid way over asking, no warranty, something breaks. Well, the only solution is for them to dig in their pocketbook and unfortunately look at some sort of litigious ways to pursue a seller or another method. Warranty is really a key piece to helping, preserve your relationship and make them refer you to other folks that they know, love, and trust. Next slide, please. So what are the next 2 years? So obviously, like I said, the slide was about a year old, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending, we're still in the same scenario, so for agents, have deals closed. One broker even mentioned that, with the current market, in 20 years, he had one E&O claim. I think it was last December, he had 5. So it is unpredictable. Some folks have had experienced 0 lawsuits. Some have experienced a huge uptick. And that's the other thing too. So, it's just a risk scenario, and it's a way that warranty helps reduce risk and help grow your business. Next slide, please. So, 68%, so right around that 7 to 10, having a major system failure. So an 8 out of 10, so that's how drastic it got back from 2021. And I from what I had heard, I'm just fairly new to the industry, it was literally no inspection, no warranty, so much cash buyers, no appraisals. There was really no controls. And then we have heard the lawsuits increased, right? So we can see what the trends are. So the idea is we don't want to get back there, right? So we want to make sure that we're at least offering warranty. We're having those conversations about it. And obviously, ideally, closing deals with warranty to help protect yourselves and the buyers and sellers. That's once again going to help protect your reputation, help grow your business. And that's where we come in. So we are your customer service, essentially. So, just to repeat myself, hey, Mr. Miss Homeowner, I know something broke. We got the refrigerator magnet with the warranty number and my business card. Please reach out to them. They'd be more than happy to assist you. They choose their own contractor with us. So that's another way that we help reinforce that relationship and reduce risk. And then we are 365 24/7. They're going to get a live person in Jackson, Michigan. When they call in, we try and keep the whole times to 5 minutes or less. So, that's just our commitment to your people. When they become part of the family, we want to make sure to take care of them. Next slide, please. So just kind of like how I've said, just to reiterate, 8 times less likely. So that's in bold for a reason. So when, you have a warranty in place, 8 times less likely to ever be named in a lawsuit. And those problems are going to be within the first 90 days of closing. So it's obviously going to be new. They have warranty, less headaches, and it's a great way just to, cover your butt on all those deals. Go to the next slide, please. So, agents who understand the value of the warranty and, they communicate that importance, they're going to, probably get a warranty 100% of the time. And I always like feedback. So, if there's ever a reason, that you feel that, it just doesn't make sense or what you've been hearing, please reach out to me. We can have a talk and, I could go over that. And, I get it. Sometimes folks are cash strapped. Everyone's budget's different. But like I say, if, someone is that strapped and they're not able to, perhaps afford a warranty, what's a system failure going to look like? And are they going to be able to afford that? And sometimes it's still a no after that. I don't think that's an ideal scenario, but, unfortunately everyone's, budget and needs are going to be a little different. So, I appreciate everyone's time today, and, if you have any questions, please unmute, ask, or throw it in the chat, and I'd be more than happy to answer. All right, folks. Well, appreciate the time. And if you have my information, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'd be more than happy to help you out. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you around the market center. So thanks a bunch and hope to see you soon.